Alright. Your formulas, I will give them to you. Okay. So you need to know them and how to work them, but I will put them on the board for you. The only two that will not be up on the board, so the two that you need to memorize, is how to find your radius and how to find your diameter. So remember, radius is the diameter divided by 2, and then your diameter is 2 times the radius. So those are the only two that you need to know. Everything else I will put up here on the board for you. So all of these right here, 1 through 4 or 1 through 5, I will give you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, how many degrees are in a quadrilateral? We have 360. So that means all 4 degrees inside of that quadrilateral have to add up to 360 degrees. All of your quadrilaterals, a trapezoid, you need to know that they only have one pair of parallel sides. So this top and bottom are parallel, but my sides are not. Okay. A parallelogram, opposite sides are parallel, and then opposite sides also have congruent sides. So these two sides have the same side length, and they're parallel, and these two sides have the same side length, and they're parallel as well. So you can kind of think of a parallelogram like a rectangle, because remember, a rectangle, opposite sides are congruent as well. Parallelograms are just slanted a little bit. They don't have right angles. Okay? And then your rhombus, you can kind of think of that as a square, because remember, a rhombus has all 4 congruent sides, and so does a square. Your rhombus is just slanted a little bit more because it doesn't have those 4 right angles as well. Okay. Quadrilateral, that is just 4 sides. Nothing special about their angles or their sides. It is just a 4-sided figure. And then your rectangle, of course, opposite sides are congruent. And then all angles are right angles. Okay.
All rectangles?
Yes. So remember these tick marks. That means that these 2 sides are the same length and these 2 sides are the same length. And then your square has all 4 right angles and all 4 congruent sides. Okay. I gave y'all a note sheet on this that has all 5 quadrilaterals and each different characteristic about it. So look at that note sheet tonight if you need to. All right, number 13, draw a picture and label the radius, circumference, and diameter. So you have to remember that your diameter passes through the center and goes from one side to the other side. So it goes all the way through your circle. Your radius just goes halfway through. Okay. And then your circumference, that is the distance around that circle. 14 through 16, you're finding the radius, diameter, area, and circumference. Okay? So looking at number 14, what piece of information was given to me? The radius, which is 6 inches. So you can go ahead and fill in the radius. Okay? And then you have to remember that you can find the diameter by doing 2 times the radius. So in this case, my diameter is 12 inches. And then your area, remember you only have one formula for area, pi r squared. So you are just plugging in that radius, 6, for r. So your area is 113.04 what type of units? Inches squared, or square inches, okay? And then circumference, that is what you have 2 different formulas for. You have pi d or 2 pi r. Since you know the radius and the diameter, you could use either formula as long as you are plugging in r for r and d for d. You cannot switch them and plug in your radius for the diameter. Okay. I did 2 pi r, so I got 37.68. It doesn't matter which formula you use, okay, as long as you are plugging in radius for r, diameter for d. And don't forget all of your units. So everything is just inches except for area. That is square inches. All right, number 15. Your radius is 6.5 centimeters. So I found that by dividing my diameter. 13 divided by 2 gave me 6.5. And then my area, that is pi r squared, so pi times 6.5 squared. And I got 132.67 centimeters squared. And your circumference is 40.82 centimeters. Here is my work for those if you need that. What? Why did I have to divide? Divide what? The radius? Because it asked for the diameter. So the radius. Because I had to find the diameter. I mean the radius. They gave me the diameter. So in order to find the radius is diameter divided by 2. So my diameter is 13. Divide that by 2 and it gives you a radius. Those are the two formulas that you will not have on the test tomorrow. Diameter and radius. Any questions on those two? Okay. Number 16. Radius is 0.7 feet. Diameter is 1.4 feet. Area is 1.54 square feet. And your circumference is 4.40 feet. That's okay. You just rounded to the nearest tenth. I didn't tell you. I rounded. Huh?
If you say don't round to the nearest tenth, don't.
I didn't say what to round to at all. So you could have rounded however you wanted. I just did 2 decimal places. On the test, I will tell you how to round. Any questions on this first page? We're good on the first page? All right. Number 17, that is a composite figure. So you have to find the area of both figures and add them together. So I've got a rectangle and a triangle. My area of my rectangle is just base times height. So that's 6 times 2, which is 12. And then my triangle, my base is right here, which has to be 6 because that's a rectangle. So those are congruent. And then what is my height? 4. This right here is telling me from the base of that triangle up to the very tip that it's 4 centimeters, and that would be your height. Because of my rectangle, that is 6 times 2, which is 12. That's of my rectangle. Yeah, and that's what I'm finding. It is the area, yeah. Okay. So then your area of your triangle is 1/2 base times height, which is also 12 centimeters squared. So to find the total area, you add them together. So final answer is 24 centimeters squared. Any questions on that one? All right, number 18, classify the quadrilateral. So what is this right here? That is a trapezoid. And then number 19 asks to find all the, find the value of x. So since it's a trapezoid or quadrilateral, that means x plus 2x plus 120 plus x all has to equal 360. Okay. And then you need to combine your like terms. So x plus 2x gives me 4x. And you still have your plus 20 equals 360. Now you have a 2-step equation, so you can solve it. So subtract 120 from both sides and then divide by 4. And x is 60. Number 20 asks to find the missing angles. So that means you're just plugging in x. So if you look up here, your quadrilateral, though, 2 of the angles that are missing is just plain x. So that means that's 60 degrees and that's 60 degrees. And then your 2x, you're just plugging in 60 for x. So 2 times 60 gives you 120.
How do you know that there's 60?
Because it's just x. And then remember right here in number 19, I solved for x.
Oh.
Okay. Any questions on those angles of the quadrilaterals? All right, number 21, you're finding the area of the triangle with a base of 10 and a height of 2. That is 10 square feet. Number 22 is a little tricky. You got to think about it. What is this full figure? That's a trapezoid. I want to find everything that's shaded. So everything inside of that trapezoid, excluding these two figures right here. So that means I've got to find the area of the whole trapezoid and then subtract these two areas from that. Does it matter if I drew my line right here or if I drew a line right here? No. It's still going to be two rectangles. Your other two areas might be a little different, but your final answer should still be the same. Okay. All right, so my area of my trapezoid, that would be 1/2 times the height, which is 10, times base 1 plus base 2. So when I did that, I got 140. Okay. So that's my whole trapezoid, is 140 units squared. Then you have to find the area of both of these rectangles. So if I look at rectangle 1, my base would be 4, my height would be 6. So that's just 4 times 6, which gives me 24. But what about this second rectangle down here? What is my base there? 8, and what's my height? 3. So that's 8 times 3, which is 24 as well. So to find the total area of that shaded region, I'm subtracting the trapezoid, the area of that trapezoid, minus those two rectangles. So my final answer is 92 square units. This way? Anybody have questions about that one? All right. Number 23. What two shapes do I have there? Trapezoid and a rectangle. So my area of my trapezoid is 18.75. And then my area of my rectangle is 36. So to find the area of the whole composite figure, add them together and you get 54.75 square feet. Alright, what about number 24? What type of figure is that? That's just a simple trapezoid, right? So you don't have to cut it into two pieces. Just find the area of the trapezoid, which is 135 millimeters squared. And what about number 25? What area is that? I mean, what shape is that? A parallelogram. So you don't have to cut it into 2 or 3 shapes either. It's just a parallelogram, so you already know the area of a parallelogram. Just base times height. Any questions on this back page? Number 24. What you got? What question? Okay, what formula did you use? So you used the right formula. Okay, did you plug in 9 for your height? And then B1 plus B2 would be 20 plus 10 is 30. The 10 is right here? Oh, I thought it was a 10. So that's how you messed up. Yeah.
I did everything, but until you got to 30, I just did 20 plus 10. Because I only got 100.
Okay, 20 plus 10 is right, but then you actually have to go back and do the 20 plus 10. So when you're multiplying everything, you multiply by the sum of those two numbers, which is 30. 30 times your height times your 1/2. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
What? Okay. Rectangle is just length times width, or base times height. So 9 times 4. We got that one? Okay, so the trapezoid again. So 1/2 times my height, which is right here, this 2.5. That's telling me from here to here it's 2.5 feet. Okay. Times base 1 plus base 2. So base 1 is 6. Base 2 is right here, which is 9. Yeah, 4 doesn't have anything to do with this trapezoid up here. Okay. All right, flipping over, number 26. That is a semicircle and a trapezoid. Okay. So I found the area of my semicircle first. But what did I have to do before I could find the area? Because they gave me a what right here? A diameter. So I had to find the radius first, which is just diameter divided by 2. So radius is 5. So plug that into your formula. And remember, it's a semicircle, so it's 1/2 pi r squared. So that come out to 39.25. And then for my trapezoid, my height is this right here, which they said is 3.5 centimeters. And then my base is 8 and 10. So when I found that, it was 31.5. And then add the two together, and you get your final answer of 70.75 square centimeters. Any questions about that one? Tyler Johnson, are you paying attention? You should be checking your answers. All right, 27, what type of figure is that? A trapezoid. So my area is 1/2 height times base 1 plus base 2. So it's 30 square inches. Number 28, what two figures are made up of that composite figure? Parallelogram or a rhombus, either one. Okay, we don't exactly know all the information. And a triangle. So how could I find the height of this triangle? I know the base is 7.5, but how could I find the height? Maddie?
It's 8.5.
Right, if this side is 8.5, then that means this side length is 8.5 as well. Okay? We will finish this when we come back from lunch. So, guys, you are coming straight back from lunch. You're not going to the Roman. I didn't tell you to leave. You're not. All right, where we number 28? Did we go over 28?
29.
So we did go over 28. Okay, so 29. 29. The dog is on a 9-foot leash that's attached to the center of a fence. Do I need to know how long that fence is? No, that doesn't matter. Okay, you don't need that 22 foot. They want to know how much space does Buddy have to roam while he's on the leash. So I went ahead and drew my fence right here. They want to know how much space there is for that dog to walk while he's on this leash. So what does that mean I have to find?
The circumference.
The area. The circumference would just be the circle that the dog is able to walk.
It's a semi. I thought that was a semicircle.
It is, Jacory. So I have to find the area of that. What, Jacory? Semicircle. Which the formula is 1/2 of the regular circle. So 1/2 pi r squared. My r is the leash, which is 9. So area is 127.17 square feet. Guys. All right, 30 through 34. You are finding the x in the quadrilaterals. So remind me, what do all these degrees, measures of the angles have to add up to be?
360.
360. 180 is a triangle. Quadrilateral is 360. So x equals 102. Number 31, x is equal to 75.
Those are easy. Miss Burkhardt just showed me what it was.
I did 300.
Look like a misshaped diamond.
360.
When you get 380?
All right, number 32. You have to remember that square right there tells you it's a 90-degree angle. So don't forget to add that 90 in.
I ain't add my 90. I got 172.
You have to add that 90 in there. You should know this because a quadrilateral has 4 angles. So that means that you should always have 4 different measurements added together to equal 360. Come on, it doesn't matter. Worry about yourself, not everybody else.
Be quiet.
32. There is way too much talking, Roman. Put the book away.
Don't you subtract, Miss Weather?
Yes.
Don't you subtract that 178? I mean, that 278 from 360?
Yes, ma'am. And you get 82. Okay, number 33. That has that 90-degree angle in there again. So 120 plus 63 plus 90 plus x all equals 360. So when you solve for x, you should get 87. 34 is a little bit different because now you have 2 different angles that have an x term in them. They still all add up to equal 360 though. You just have to combine some like terms. So my 34 and my 110 I can add together to get 144. And then my 2x and 1x add together to get 3x. So 144 plus 3x equals 360. Now you have a one-step equation. So you can subtract both sides, 144 from both sides, and then divide both sides by 3. So x is 72. Any questions on that one? All right, what is the figure right here? A trapezoid. Any questions on this study guide? Come on.
When you do this, can I see the bottom one?
Any other questions about the study guide?